Hi, you have reached the Art of Memories. Please leave a message after the tone.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Monica Anthony. Welcome back to the Art of Memories, everybody. It's April, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this episode. I wanted to make sure that I'm continuing being interactive with my audience. So, with that being said, if you don't follow me on Instagram at _art of memories with two S's at the end, you're missing out because this week I asked my audience to give me, I give them prompts, and I wanted to hear from you guys and give your takes just about, it still has to do with, memories, reliving, kind of analyzing society and life and just about a lot of stuff that's going on. But most importantly, I wanted to hear from you. I think it's, yes, I have plenty of stories to share, and I'm sure I could probably go on and on. But outside outside of interviews, I think it's important that I hear from you all because I know a lot of people have a lot of stuff to share, and not everyone has the capacity to come in for interviews, which I'm still coordinating, by the way. Geez, this takes a lot of work. People got lives, we were busy, as so do myself, but no worries, we'll get to that. But before then, I thought it'd be really cool to just get your idea on a few things. So today's episode, yeah, I created 4 prompts. I can read them for you. So you kind of have an idea about what, if you didn't see the Instagram, you'll have an idea about what I'm talking about. But let me go see here. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Okay, so the 4 prompts were that I gave, and I'm gonna share 3 responses today that I got. The first one was closure is overrated. Do we actually need closure, or is it something we romanticize to move on? Nostalgia can hold you back. When remembering the past too fondly stops you from evolving. Social media is ruining how we remember moments. Are we documenting life or interrupting it? And lastly, someone out there remembers you in a moment you've completely forgotten. We should be nicer to each other in society, and why is it important to be mindful about how you act towards others? So, those were the 4 prompts. I got some really great feedback from those 4. So, I think what I'm going to do is, because I don't know specifically which one people responded to, so I think I'll just play it. And then based on what they responded to, which prompt, we'll listen, I'll say what I have to say, and we'll kind of have a back and forth, but virtually almost. So I'll give my take on their take and see if I agree, disagree. We'll just see what you have to say. So I think those are great prompts in terms of getting you to think. And I think this is a great space to, have an opinion about life and just kind of see how others think. Like, are we all thinking the same? Or maybe I'm thinking too, am I like too stuck up, or am I not on the right direction? You never know. So this is just a place to do so. So again, if you ever want to share, you need advice, you want my opinion on something, you want to share something that happened to you yesterday or a month ago, or just share a good story, bad story, please use the link in my bio. It's a website called SpeakPipe, but I call it personally my memory lane because it's the art of memory. So use the link called Memory Lane and it'll take you directly to the website. You don't have to sign up or anything. I promise you, it just takes you right to the website. You press record just like any voice memo. And then once you're done, it sends it to me automatically and I'll play it on the pod. And, we'll have a good kiki. We might laugh at you. We might not. We'll see. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just think it's great. So let's get into it. I don't want to waste too much time. I mean, I act like I have somewhere to be. I'm in my house, but I want to get to it because I know you all are waiting. So let me play the first take. And we'll go from there. Sorry, I had it set up. Guys, I swear. Okay, so this is 45 minutes. Oh, seconds. It's loading. Are you gonna play? Don't do this to me. Is he gonna play? Nah, bro, it's tripping here. Yo, don't make me look.
So I'm answering your prompt on whether or not closure is overrated and romanticized. I definitely think it is. I think society, especially today with social media, really grasps onto this idea of closure being this huge moment where you feel like you can finally move on. It's something that's going to happen, but it's not the reality for most people. And a lot of people just have to heal with time and space. And I think, you know, it sets people up for disaster in a way because you're telling people all on the internet, your closure will come, you'll get that piece of closure you've been waiting for, but a lot of the times it doesn't happen. So, I mean, I definitely just think that it's a bit overrated and hugely romanticized because of social media.
Sorry. Great take. No, that's a really great take. I'm very happy with that response. That one was anonymous. I mean, I won't say the names either way. If you recognize yourself, you recognize yourself. But that was a great take. I agree. I agree. Even though it's hard for me to have too much on an opinion on this, just due to the fact that I've only had, and I'm blessed to have only had one heartbreak. So, I mean, you could have closure in other instances as well in your life. I don't think it necessarily has to be in relation to relationships, like romantic relationships, but I think primarily like that's where it stems from is like you go through a breakup, but to be vulnerable and to be honest, I think in the situation that I went through, I don't think it was necessary. I think saying that you need closure almost is giving you more time. And I think it's an excuse, just like this person said, it's overrated due to social media. Like, oh, it'll come around, like it'll happen, but it's like, does it even need to happen? In the sense that if, say, you broke up and that's what happened, and this person, or you were together for a while, it meant a lot to you, this relationship, and you feel like the day you broke up, like the actual day itself, you didn't feel like you got to say everything. You felt like there's some things still on the table. So you make it up in your head that you need closure. And it might be a few days later, it might be a few weeks later, but in your head, you've created the sense that I still have something to say. And this is where I think the take is false, or I think this is where I don't agree with it, because what is going to change whether you speak to this person or not and get that closure? I think it also really depends, like if you left things unsaid and there's a possibility of you know getting back together and kind of like rekindling, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But if there's no, so yeah, that's the difference. If it's like, no, like we're broken up, like this is what's gonna happen, we're done, and then in your head you have a stuck like, oh, I still need closure, like to me, like that's pointless. It's like, I think you're only hurting yourself. I think there's nothing else to be said. What was said is done. And yes, like in the moment, just like when you fight, like you have a back and forth, and then after it's like, oh man, like I should have said this, or I wish I said that. But it's like the fight still happened, like the breakup still happened, you still broken up. That's it, that's all. But in the sense of me, I continue to tell myself, this is a long time ago, but I continue to tell myself that, yeah, like I need closure, like I want to see him again, or just finding a reason to just see that person again. But realistically, like what was done was done. Like there's no there's no coming back from this. There's no rekindling. Like it's just, and it was set in stone, and the breakup had to happen. It wasn't like anyways, it had to happen. But in my head, I was convinced that, if I saw him again or if I had a chance to just speak my word or like, give a different perspective, because at the end of the day, it's like sometimes you also see this coming. So it's like, girl, like whatever you're going to say is not going to change. You guys have probably had this conversation a few times now, and it's not going to happen. But I also agree social media plays into that. Like, I see a lot of TikTok sometimes, like, oh, he will come back, or like, they always spin the block, or like, it's like, do they need to though? Like, it's just like the same people. This is kind of going off the prompt, but it's the same people who are in situationships for like 6 years. It's like, bro, like, how many times is that girl gonna tell you like she's not gonna change her mind, or a man? Like, how many times they're gonna say like, this is it, I don't want more, and you continue to go back. You think you're gonna change their mind. Like, it's like, I don't know. So I agree. I think it's fake. I think it's fake. I don't know where it came from. I don't think, and please let me know. I'm curious if you've ever gotten closure, but that's the thing. I don't think everyone wants to rekindle things getting closure. So what's the point? Now I'm thinking, if you're not getting closure to somewhat persuade the person or whatever, what is the point of getting closure? To have peace of mind? You're not going to think about this probably in like 5 years, probably less than that. Like, what is the closure really going to do? Like, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it's just something that you tell yourself in your head, like, yeah, I need this to feel better. It's kind of like a placebo, like, girl, that's not going to make you feel better. Or like, you're not going to feel different afterwards. And I think a lot of the time, a lot of people get closure and they hurt more. Again, it's situational because everyone's different. I think if you're a lot less like as an emotional person, like I think if you feel stuff a little less, or maybe you're already checked out, it really depends on the type of person you are, I think. Um, and the scenario, yeah, because not everything is given. And I could say like, yes, I don't really need closure, but maybe I would really feel relief from it. I don't know, guys. I don't. I think it's fake. Let me not say I don't know. I think it's fake. I'm like 90% sure that most people don't need closure. But that's that first take. Thank you so much for whoever submitted that. That's amazing. And this is great. It's facilitating conversation. It gets you thinking. I love to see how different people's brain works. Like, what's your perspective? So this is great. Let's move on to the next one and see. I hope it's a different prompt. Okay.
Hello, Monica. I'm going to answer the question of
Thank you.
closure. In my opinion, I do agree with the sentiment that I think that closure in and of itself is a selfish way to cope with a situation or a relationship not going the way you wanted it to go in your mind's eye. I find that a lot of the things that people look to have closure for is not to have an amicable way to part ways with the person, but simply to fit a narrative that they had in their mind when they met this person. And I find that closure comes from our personal egos and hubris in how sometimes we go into something not expecting to be hurt, and God forbid we get hurt, and our immune system reacts in a way where it's like, this could never be me. There's no way this is happening to me. And so closure, well, you can make an argument for the opposite, but closure is basically to soothe yourself or delude yourself into a state of mind that is more in line with your ego.
Thank you so much for that submission. That was great. And it's the same prompt. That's fine. I think it helps expand the conversation. Also, this person gave a different perspective in terms of they're mostly looking at it, to sum it up, from what I understood, is they're looking at it from a selfish perspective. They're basically saying like, if you seek closure, it's for your own self, which I somewhat was saying before, in the selfish way to be like, to put you, like I said before, to put you at ease, it's for you to make you feel better. And I agree. I 100% agree with that opinion. I think at the end of the day, it's usually also, closure is usually one-sided. Like, how often do you find yourself in a situation where both of you want to talk it out? Again, I think it's depends again on this, it's so situational. You can't say like this applies to everyone, but I think in general, most relationships is usually one person that feels unsettled, and usually, which hasn't been said, usually it's the person that got broken up with. It's not the broken up like, it's the person who got broken up with who's like, actually no, we're not going to end this way. You're not going to get the chance to leave me like that and get the last word. And so that's a great way to put it. Closure is somewhat of a way, and it goes back to selfishness, of having the last word. It's like, okay, well, like, yes, we're done, but I need to clear things up, or I want to have things said. Like, I want to paint this picture and dot these I's and cross these T's to make myself feel better. It's like almost putting a period at the end of the chapter. It's like, I get to put the dot. I'm not done yet. And I think this aligns with this opinion in the sense of like, it's, you need to create this narrative in your head about, the relationship, how it finishes. It's almost like, yeah, like ending like a book on like a good note, it's like the end. Like, like, it's like this, it has to be some big not big, but it has to be like this theatrical of like, no, like, this is how I want to end it. Like, you don't get to do that to me. You don't get to have the last say and have the last word. But it's like, listen, life is not fair, Let me tell you, life is not fair. And I think if you have that mindset of, in general and outside of like closure, relationships, platonic, romantic, like, I think if you have this idea in your head of like, I need to have the last say, I'm the one creating the narrative, like, I like this, essentially this idea of like it's not good. It's not good. And people won't want to be around you if everything is always about you. And it's like, listen, like, I'm sure this person had their reasons of breaking up, or I'm sure like you might have had this conversation before, maybe you saw it coming, and I feel like sometimes when people need closure, they act like, oh, they did see it coming, but it's just their way of just being shocked. Also, I think it's like sometimes you know that you're on the verge of breaking up, and then you get broken up with, and then it's like, okay, but wait, I didn't know it was gonna happen now. So then it's like you're kind of like unbalanced, and it's like, but I need to center myself. Like, I don't feel centered because you rock the boat. Anyways, we could go on about this really, but yes, I agree that closure. I agree that closure is overrated. I do agree. And again, going back to my own situation, I needed closure a few times. Like, if I'm just being honest, I convinced myself that, yeah, I needed closure. So you're constantly put in the situation of like finding excuses to go see this person and having conversations, and I think it almost hurts you more. Again, my closure was a continuous closure until it was done, but in the sense of like, we were done, like broken up with. But, and I think this, it's not just me, I think that also the other person plays a part in this as well, in terms of like creating that like boundary of like, I like, it's done, like, I got broken up with, but which isn't a bad thing, it had to happen. But I think in the sense that, if you're breaking up with a person, this is a whole other thing, but I think if you're breaking up with the person, it's almost selfish of you to continuously see that person, knowing that like what's done, it's done. And say like you break up with someone and she's like, no, like, let me see you one more time, like, this can't be this, that, and like you fall into that and you play into that. It's like, all right, bro, like, you know I'm hurting. You know this isn't good for me. This isn't good for you. This isn't good for us. Like, don't, again, it's not to blame the other person, but it's like, like this is not healthy. So yeah, and then it's that continuous like finding a way to see each other again. It's like, oh well, like we didn't talk about this, or like we can hang out as friends. Like, girl, you broke up like 2.5 days ago. there's no I mean at this point in time. Like you need sorry. You need to be apart. So that's a really good take. That's a really good take. I might spin the coop on that. I feel like I've talked about this enough, but let's go to the last person response and let's see what they have to say. Hopefully this facilitates a greater conversation. I think there's 2 voice memos here, so let's see what they have to say.
When closure doesn't happen,
Oh,
I got time now, so I can speak on it. But I'll start off with the unpopular opinion of all 4 of them going hand, right? You chase closure to move on. When you don't get it, nostalgia fills the space. And then social media amplifies it and distorts those memories. Meanwhile, you are part of other people's memories too. I don't have to go further, but basically, with closure, we tell ourselves we need a clean slate to move on. And then instead of actually moving on, the nostalgia kicks in. When closure doesn't happen, fills in the gaps, that's romanticizing what already happens and stuff like that. Now you go on social media, instead of remembering those moments, you start to curate them. We film, we post, we make unpopular opinion. Your ex-boyfriend actually had this and that and the third. They had an avoidant personality. And then now you don't remember it. You never remember it. You're now in your own head. And then the last one kind of flips the perspective. This one is kind of like outlier, but when someone remembers you in a way you don't realize is, you're kind of stuck analyzing your own past. That's my popular opinion. And now, let me talk about my prompt.
all right. Well, that was interesting because this person tied all 4 of them together and it's basically saying that they all go hand in hand. And honestly, I agree. I didn't even see that when I made the prompts, but yes, they go hand in hand. And something that came up in this person's first response is a second voice memo, but in this first response is in terms of the closure and moving on. Sorry, I was just trying to remember what I wanted to say. But in terms of the closure and moving on, I think that people see closure, like mentioned, this is a great point, that you basically can't move forward without it. But that's your brain telling you that. Like that's yourself telling you like you need this in order to do that. Like, but it's just not how it works and it doesn't need to work that way. But if you've convinced yourself that it has to happen in that order, like you can't put E before D. A, B, C, D, E. It already. Pray for me. What I'm trying to say is that you can't like change the order of things. Because in your head, it's like, in order for me to get closure, I can't move on to see other people, or I can't. Sometimes people get closure like years later. Like they'll drift off, they'll go do other things, and then it's like you find your way back to each other, and then you get closure. It's like, damn, bro, like is it even necessary at this point? But again, I think everything is situational. But yes, I like that point of in terms of moving on, you need the closure. But again, I think that's fake. And then tie into social media and nostalgia. It's like, yeah, when you don't get that closure that you so convince yourself that you needed, you fall back to the old times. And Lord, I know I was guilty of that. I think we all do that in relationships. You think about, oh, the good old times and remember when we did this. You're looking through pictures, you're deleting pictures off your phone because you feel sick to your stomach looking at them. Trust. Girl, boy, we've all been there. But it's part of the process. But I see how that ties into like remembering like each other. I just want to bring something up real quick about the prompt. And then, yeah, the aspect of social media in the sense that, yeah, social media is sickening. I don't even remember, but I also think it gets to the point that if you don't get that closure, you remember that person, just like the first person said, you remember that person in a certain way. So in your head, or maybe that's the second person, but in your way, it goes back to creating that narrative, and that you are going to remember someone in a certain fashion, and you're almost like sometimes you're giving them one more chance to like prove you otherwise, or to kind of like fix the story in your head, and it's giving that the end, like, okay, like this is the way that I'm going to remember you, is based off the closure. But yeah, that's a really great take in terms of combining all four of them. I'm glad that, and this is the critical thinking that I'm talking about, guys. Like, let's get deep. Let's think thoroughly. And this person did exactly that. And these are the type of conversations I'd love to have. So there's a second chair here. If you would like to do so, any of you, please let me know. But moving on, this person had a second voice memo. I think it's specific to a prompt. So let's see. I swear, if it has to do with the closure, no one else like the other ones, eh?
I changed my mind. I'm going with the social media is ruining our remember moments because we're not even in it anymore. A lot of people are fake having fun just to show that they're actually having fun instead of actually having fun. And it actually goes deep. And like, it's not that we record everything, is at the moment when we get a chance to exist on its own anymore. So something like meaningful happens. Your brain splits into two. One part is living it. The other is outside of you, watching it, framing it, thinking, is it worth posting? Did I get that shot? Or should I do it again? That alone changes that moment because you're no longer inside it, you are directing. A lot of people are directing moments now. But then it gets worse after because now the memory you keeping it is not actually what happened, it's the version that you survived. So the best angle, the cleanest clip, the one that got the most attention, the funniest dance.
Oh man. Dang. I need to keep sorry.
And then over time, that perception replaces reality. So you don't even remember how it felt being there, you remember how it looked like on your phone. And then you don't even get to really like feel it in a way. So the memory stops being something you lived and becomes something you consumed. So now the craziest part is the more you play that version, the more your brain believes that it's the truth because your brain does not know what's true and what's not. So that with social media is kind of distorting that, and also it changes our perception. Like after a breakup, social media is gonna start liking the stuff that you like, right? It's gonna start giving you the algorithm that your ex was in need or stuff like that. So now your perception of it, you forgot that in a way you were kind of the villain of it. So social media also validates some of our memories instead of, So that's my take.
Nah. There's some good things in there. There were some good things in all three of them. I don't want to boost, but like this touches on a few parts. How do I even break this down? Let's just say the algorithm is really messing us up. Let me not swear on this thing. I probably already have, but the algorithm is fucking us up. Because it gives you what you want to see. So in the aspect of social media, I don't want to say is fake. I think that's a very strong take. And I struggle with this a lot myself. I'm no influencer. I'm no big content creator. I wouldn't even call myself that. I just like creating stuff, and I like sharing. I like having discussions, deep conversations, navigating, exploring like identity. And anyways, I like doing that, and I like to do that online. But there's so much to say. I struggled to do so, and I hesitated even starting the art of memories. I've had this thought for I don't even know how long, how many years, but I struggled due to the fact that of online presence. I'm not afraid of being online, but I see what it does to people. And before even starting the art of memories, obviously I have Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. I've had the apps. I have the apps, and I see what it does to people. And I hesitated jumping into that space, in terms of like a hobby and like my passion, because like once you're in it, you're in it. And once like you post stuff, like they say, people say, it's out there forever. And I think it's a cool place. I think being too chronically online is super healthy, and I don't like to be that. And doing what I do and producing and podcasting, like I have to be, like it's a part of it. You can't really do one or the, like you can, but it helps your what's it called, it helps your image and it helps your brand being online. I mean, I could simply record and upload on like YouTube, Spotify, whatever, and be done with it. But it helps having a presence online. But yeah, I hesitated just due to the everything that comes with being on social media. And yeah, I was like, do I want that to myself? Like, do I even want to be on my phone more than how much I'm already on my phone? That's the question I ask myself all the time. Is like, how much do I want to be on my phone? And it's like, if I create this account and start the art of memories, like that, it's going to require me to create content, keep up with the trends, post stuff. Like, sometimes it's like, damn, bro, like, dude. Anyways, but yeah, social media definitely feeds you. Social media feeds you what you want to see. The algorithm. The algorithm is the most sickening place ever. And when I think about, like this person said, in terms of comparing, being in the moment, documenting. This is like one of the biggest things that I think about all the time is documenting. People constantly having their phones out, constantly, and I hate, and that's the disparity I go back and forth with it, just being online myself, is that I don't want to constantly be that person in the moment that always has their phone out, but I'm also like passionate about like having an online presence and creating in my brand, and like just being online, like it takes work, and having a presence and getting viewers and maintaining an audience is hard work. So it's like you almost have to, but I also judge myself at the same time. It's like, damn girl, like do you have to take so many videos before you eat that food? Or like, can you not put your phone down and just enjoy the music for 1 second when you're at a concert? It's that constant back and forth I have, and it's hard, and there's no in between. It's like it's either you are or you're not. And it's like if you're not, like, yeah, you can be online, but you're not gonna grow. But it's also finding that moment of like, okay, I'm just gonna be in the moment. But then a content creator said, if I can even call myself that, it's kind of like, oh well, like this is good content. Like I'm if you've ever been around me, I'm always like, oh, I gotta get this. This is good content. And it's like, God, like just enjoy the day, girl. Nah, man, like I can't. But it's like, but it is though. I don't know what to say. So yeah, document. And the first thing I think about when it comes to documenting and being in the moment is concerts. I think that aspect of life and has completely been distorted. I think concerts, even festivals, like I think Coachella is like this weekend or something, weekend one. That is an influencer's, like, what is it? That's an influencer's Super Bowl, for example, because like the content that they get from that is perfect, because us who aren't there feed off of that and we live through them. And I think that's why documenting is kind of ruining society and social media, and it's interrupting things because we're constantly documenting things, because the rest of us who haven't been there or who haven't traveled to that country, we watch it. I just did it today. I'm looking at TikTok videos for the place that I want to go to get a sense of like what's going on. Like I'm living through her for a second, being like, oh, I want to do this. I mean, I see it more as research, but it's still, if people didn't do that, then I had nothing to go off of. But it's like, obviously there was a time where people didn't have that, obviously. But yeah, it's just looking at it in a lens of, we always have our phone now. We always have our phone out, and concerts are bad for that, terrible for that. And I think about just being at the Chris Brown concert. Like, let's be honest, guys. I love him. I've seen him 3 times. When was the last time that you've watched a concert video on your phone that you recorded? I probably have, between all concerts, I probably like 40 videos on my phone. Between all three I've gone in the last few years. When was the last time I sat down and was like, wow, I'm going to sit and relive through this moment of the Chris Brown concert? Yeah. Think about that for a second. But like, that's the thought process that I have in my head. It's just thinking about, and then it's taking up storage and shit. And it's like, damn. And then I'm constantly going through this thing because, you know, I have to record this and I'm thinking about like space on my phone. It's like, oh, well, like obviously you can put it places, but I gotta get my hard drive and my USB and I gotta move it to my laptop. But it's like, do I delete it? But like, I can't. And it's almost come from a place of security. I think we document things to just like taking pictures. Yes, we document it for security so I can look back at it, but we have to ask ourselves, how often do we look back at these things, these mundane things? Yes, I look back at my disposable pictures that I've developed from trips more than I really do on the videos on my phone. I swear. Because just to me, it's like the disposable is like that one shot in that one moment that I got, and it's like it's just a lot more precious in that sense, because I don't have another picture like that. Like that's a one in the moment picture. But videos, it's like how often do I go back and like watch? I think also me, I can't really speak on this because I struggle with nostalgia and that feeling. I hate it. I hate thinking about good times. And I know that sounds sickening, but I do. I hate thinking about the good times. I hate thinking, and it mostly pertains in terms of trips that I've had. I cannot think back. Oh, you remember that moment in Japan? I'll cry, and not in a bad way. I'll genuinely just cry because I can't relive that again right now. And it was such a good time, like highlight of my life. 100%. It's like I can't think about that. So when people bring it up, it's like I can't do this right now. Also, I think it's sensitive because, like, you know, I'm in Canada, like, you know, like Canada's not Japan in that sense, you know what I mean? So it's like if I want to experience that again, I have to go back, but then it's like you have to book a ticket, it's like 14 hours away, and you know I have to take time off from work, and it's money. So it's like I just know, it's almost like I struggle with things that I know I won't be able to again soon. I know I'll go back, but it's like it's just almost unattainable, and it's like, girl, like don't talk to me. It was the best time of my life, and I don't know why I struggle with that. I am extremely empathetic. I feel things through and through. I almost was just crying today because I saw a girl get a new bike for her birthday, and I had like a bow on it, and her parents surprised her, and I was like, wow, what a beautiful moment. Like, I don't know, that's small, but I feel things. So yeah, when it comes to good times, memories, and looking back on stuff, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it because I'm like, if I can't relive it right now, like, don't talk to me about it. But yeah, I think we need to reevaluate in terms of, yeah, documenting moments and, yeah, staying present and understanding that balance between, again, and I'm struggling with that, or I'm managing that in the sense of, okay, like, this is the time to just be in the moment, listen to things. And I try not to do it too much, like, when it's important. Like, you know, I might like record the food before eating, but as we're eating, I'm not scrolling my phone. Or yeah, if like I'm talking to people, I'm not on my phone like looking for the next trend or editing a video. I try to, you know, do it like when I'm alone or when I have time, or it's just juggling that, and it's a hard balance. But yes, this is a great conversation. Thank you so much to everyone who responded. But yeah, I appreciate all the takes. I agree. I think all four of them do go together. I think that closure is overrated. I think social media is interrupting life, and, you know, in terms of documenting everything and always have our phones out. I think the phones will be the detriment of us. I mean, we see shit with AI now. It's already going south. But yeah, this is great. Thank you so much. And I would love to do this again, but please, please, please use the link in my bio, Memory Lane, and just drop me anything. It could be a 5-minute story time. It could be a 2-minute. It could be 30 seconds. I want to hear from you. And hopefully by the next episode, I keep saying this, that'll be an interview. But yeah, you know, scheduling, juggling, and everything. But thank you so much for being here. This is bro, I'm parched, man. I went down the wrong tube. This is some great conversations. Thank you so much. And I'm happy to be here. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Until next time, TAFM, love you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, like all the other content creator influencers say. Like, comment, and subscribe. Link in my bio. But yeah, thank you. Toodaloo.